Hello everyone, you are welcome to Study by Yourself. This is Sir Prince, and in this video I'm going to take past questions with you. We are going to solve the past questions together. I'm going to go through the questions first of all. So as I go through the questions, you answer them on your sheet. So this is Basic Education Certificate Examination for School Candidates, also known as BECE exam. Welcome to BEC Past Questions Objectives 2017. I'll urge you to take your pens and your books and then answer the questions as I read. So number 1, the instrument used to measure relative humidity is there. The instrument used to measure relative humidity is there. Two, the SI unit for density is. The SI unit for density is. Three, when light travels from glass to air, its speed is. When light travels from glass to air, its speed is. 4, when a piece of iron rod is brought near a permanent magnet for a while, it becomes magnetized because. When a piece of iron rod is brought near a permanent magnet for a while, it becomes magnetized because. 5, a rheostat is used in electric circuit in order to. A rheostat is used in an electrical circuit or electric circuit in order to. 6, which of the following statements about an opaque object is correct? The following statement about an opaque object is correct. An opaque object Seven, one of the characteristics of a solid is that. One of the characteristics of a solid is that. The instrument used to measure current in an electric circuit is there. The instrument used to measure current in an electrical circuit or electric circuit is there. Nine, the bottom of a pool of water appears to the surface than it is. Which of the following properties accounts for this observation? The bottom of a pool of water appears closer to the surface than it is. Which of the following properties accounts for this observation? Ten, an example of a source of energy which is non-renewable is. An example of a source of energy which is non-renewable is. Which of the following apparatus is not required in the process of distillation in the laboratory? Which of the following apparatus is not required in the process of distillation in the laboratory? So the number of oxygen atoms present in 3 molecules of carbon dioxide is. The number of oxygen atoms present in 3 molecules of carbon dioxide is. The chemical formula Cl with a subscript of 2 represents 2. The chemical formula Cl with a subscript of 2 represents 2. Which of the following substances can rust? Which of the following substances can rust? 15. Energy stored in food is referred to as. Energy stored in food is referred to as. 16. Which of the following substances is a mixture? Which of the following substances is a mixture? 17. The mole is the SI unit of. The mole is the SI unit of. 18. An atom has a proton number of 17 and neutron number of 18. Determine the number of electrons in the third shell of the atom. An atom has a proton number of 17 and neutron number of 18. Determine the number of electrons in the third shell of the atom. 19. An example of mixtures that can be separated by the method of filtration is. An example of mixtures that can be separated by the method of filtration is. Which of the following liquids turn blue litmus paper red? Which of the following liquids will turn blue litmus paper red? Which of the following particles constitute matter? Which of the following particles constitute matter? So you have atoms, molecules, and then ions. Atoms, molecules, ions. An example of inheritable characteristics in humans is. An example of inheritable characteristics in humans is. Which of the following statements about aerobic respiration is correct? Which of the following statements about aerobic respiration is correct? Sperms produced by the testes in humans are temporarily stored in the. Sperms produced by the testes in humans are temporarily stored in the. Which of the following changes normally occur during old age in humans? Which of the following changes normally occur during old age in humans? One of the characteristics of wind-pollinated flowers is that they One of the characteristics of wind-pollinated flowers is that they the testes are normally located outside the body of a male because the testes are normally located outside the body of a male because 28. The organelle that occupies the largest portion of a plant cell is the organelle that occupies the largest portion of a plant cell is the 29. Movement of ribs is brought about by the movement of the ribs is brought about by the 30. Fertilization in humans usually occurs in the 31. Which of the following processes is an example of osmosis? Which of the following processes is an example of osmosis? The part of a living cell which is semi-permeable is the part of a living cell which is semi-permeable is which of the following statements about soil profile is or are correct? It helps the farmer to determine I. Soil fertility, II. Water holding capacity of the soil, III. Depth of the soil. Which of the following statements about soil profile is or are correct? It helps the farmer to determine I. Soil fertility, II. Water holding capacity of the soil, III. Depth of the soil. (34) Which of the following practices is not a principle of crop rotation? Which of the following practices is not a principle of crop rotation? (35) The relative proportion of sand, silt, and clay in a given soil is soil. The relative proportion of sand, silt, and clay in a given sample of soil is soil. (36) The first factor to be considered when deciding to cultivate a particular vegetable is the first factor to be considered when deciding to cultivate a particular vegetable is 37. Which of the following factors should be considered when selecting a site for vegetable crop production? Which of the following factors should be considered when selecting a site for vegetable crop production? I. nearness to the market. II, topography of the land. III, nearness to the sea. I, nearness to the market. II, topography of the land. III, nearness to the sea. (38) Which of the following activities are cultural practices in the cultivation of cabbage? The following activities are cultural practices in the cultivation of cabbage. I, pruning. II, weeding. III, watering. I, pruning. II, weeding. III, watering. 39. An example of vegetable crop is. 40. The majority charge carriers in a p-type semiconductor are. The majority charge carriers in a p-type semiconductor are. So we are done with the questions. We are going to answer the question, so just get ready to mark and then assess what you have done so far. So here are the answers. The instrument used to measure relative humidity. Instrument used to measure relative humidity is hydrometer. That's A, hydrometer. So the second question, the SI unit for density is. The SI unit for density is kilogram per meter cube. It's kilogram per meter cube. When light travels from glass to air, its speed from glass to air, so from in a glass is slow, air is less dense, so it's fast. So from glass to air, it increases. It's increased. When light travels from glass to air, the speed increases. Question 4. When a piece of iron rod is brought near a permanent magnet, for a while it becomes magnetized by induction. D, induction. A rheostat is used in an electric circuit. A rheostat is actually a resistor, but a rheostat is a variable resistor. It means you can increase the resistance or decrease the resistance. And resistors are used in controlling the electric current. So if a resistor is an adjustable, if a rheostat is an adjustable resistor, then it can increase as well as decrease the electric current. So the answer is D. Which of the following statements about an opaque object is correct? Which of the following statements about an opaque object is correct? Okay, so opaque objects do not allow light to pass through them. So opaque object allows light to pass through it partially, no. Allows light to pass through it fully, no. Forms a shadow, yes. In fact, shadow is formed when an opaque object is placed in the path of a mirror. Sorry, when an opaque object is placed in the path of a light source. So it's C. C, forms a shadow. One of the characteristics of a solid is that its particles are tightly packed. Yes. It assumes the shape of its container. No. It has no fixed volume. No. Its particles can easily be separated. No. So the answer is A. The instrument used to measure current and electric circuits is ammeter. The ammeter is used to measure electric current. It's A. The bottom of a pool appears closer to the surface than it is. So the following properties account for this observation. So the answer is refraction of light. Refraction. So let's move on to the next question, question 10. An example of a source of energy which is non-renewable is petroleum. Renewable source of energy, the energy is easily gotten, but the non-renewable, it takes some time before the energy or the source gives you what you want. To get petroleum, it has to go through a long process. Solar, tide, and wind. It's just easily gotten. So the answer is A. 11. Which of the following apparatus is not required in a process of distillation in a laboratory? Condenser is needed to reduce the temperature of the vapor. Evaporating dish is not needed. Bunsen burner is a heat source. Round bottom flask is also needed. So the answer is B. Evaporating dish is not needed. The number of oxygen atoms present in 3 molecules of carbon dioxide. This is how to represent 3 molecules of carbon dioxide. So there are 3 atoms of carbon, because there's one down here but it's not written. So 3 atoms of carbon, 2 atoms of oxygen. Now this 3 is multiplying the one which is over here as well as these 2. So you have 3 atoms of carbon, 6 atoms of oxygen, because the 3 is multiplying these 2. So the answer is D. 13. The chemical formula Cl2 represents 2 atoms of chlorine. Yes, 2 atoms of chlorine. That is A. Which of the following substances can rust? Steel can rust. Steel. Aluminium will not rust. Bauxite. We get aluminium from bauxite, and copper does not rust. Steel rust because it contains iron. 15. Energy stored in food is referred to as chemical energy. Chemical energy. So the following substances is a mixture. Sodium chloride solution. The mole is the SI unit of amount of substance A. An atom has proton number of 17 and neutron number of 18. Determine the number of electrons on the third shell. Now the element has 17 protons, definitely has 17 electrons because we are not told it's an ion. 17 electrons, 17 protons. Now electron configuration. First shell takes 2, second shell takes 8, third shell takes 7. So 7 electrons on the third shell. So the answer is D. An example of mixtures that can be separated by the method of filtration is sand in water. Answer is B. 20. Which of the following liquids would turn blue litmus paper red? Acid turns blue litmus paper. Acid turns blue litmus paper red. Base turns red litmus paper blue. So acid turns blue litmus paper red. So which of these is an acid? Vinegar is an acid. Vinegar is gotten from alcohol. It's an acid. So the answer is A. So in the previous question, the rest of the options are bases. Which of the following particles constitute matter? So particles of matter, we have atoms, molecules, ions. The answer is D. D. An example of heritable characteristics in humans is shape of nose can be inherited. So the following statements about aerobic respiration is correct. Aerobic respiration. The byproducts are carbon dioxide and water. That's A. Sperms produced by the testes in humans are stored in the epididymis. A. So the following changes normally occur during old age in humans. Gray hair starts appearing. Melanin is what causes the hair to have or gives the hair its color. So during old age, melanin does not function properly. One of the characteristics of wind pollinated flowers is that they have feathery stigma. The testes are normally located outside the body of a male because the temperature of the body is too high for effective sperm production. So it's A. The organelle which occupies the largest portion of the plant cell is the vacuole. Vacuole because plant stores cell sap. The sap is like a liquid, so the vacuole stores excess water, not liquid, water. Movement of ribs is brought about by the intercostal muscles. Fertilization in humans occurs in the fallopian tube. Which of the following processes is an example of osmosis? Absorption of water into the root hairs. How plant roots absorb water. The part of the living cell which is permeable is the cell membrane. D. So the following statements about soil profile is or are correct. So the following statements about soil profile are correct. It helps the farmer to know the soil fertility, know the water holding capacity, know the depth of the soil. So the answer is D. So the following practices is not a principle of crop rotation. Crops that are closely related should follow each other. It's not correct. The rest of them are principles of crop rotation. 35. The relative proportion of sand, silt, and clay is in a given soil sample or sample of soil is soil texture. The first factor to be considered when deciding to cultivate a vegetable crop is selection of land. So B. 37. So the following factors should be considered when selecting a site for vegetable crop production. So nearness to the market, true. Topography of the soil, true. Nearness to the sea, no, because it has no correlation with vegetable crop production. So the answer I is out. So the answer is A. I and II. 38. Which of the following activities are cultural practices in cultivation of cabbage? In the cultivation of cabbage. So pruning is there, weeding is there, watering is also there. You prune by removing the leaves which are not healthy. You weed unwanted crops. You water. So the answer is D. 39. An example of vegetable crop is tomato. Now, potato is a vegetable according to nutritionists because it's able to provide nutrients as vegetables are, but for the sake of BECE, let's just choose tomato. You can do your own research to find out. Question 40. Majority charge carriers in the p-type are holes. So this brings us to the end of 2017. Thank you for watching this video till the end. I'll urge you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that when I upload any video, you'll be alerted. Thank you for watching and keep studying by yourself.